Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen with the Tough Eggs. In today's video, I'm going to do more of an opinion piece instead of my traditional reviews or guides. Specifically regarding the planned changes to the PvE bounties coming in 3.13.1. So as precaution, I'll throw some Hornet gameplay in the background just to keep you entertained a little bit. Now, I adored the state of bounty hunting in 3.12, along with many others. You could grind considerable amounts of money very quickly and really efficiently. This made it especially useful to players who couldn't log hundreds of hours into the game and allowed them to acquire the ships and gear that they wanted, freeing up more time for exploration or just messing around with their friends. Whereas recently in 3.13 this earning potential seems to have been somewhat muted. A reset in the reputation and missions has left many, including myself, having to grind back from the start, and an artificial delay in the spawning of targets means for large chunks of time you're kind of just floating in space doing nothing, praying for the bounty to spawn. In a group time-gated bounty, this is really annoying and has really impacted the quick, efficient UEC grinds we had previously. To further kind of annoy us all, CIG plans to remove the ability to jump directly to the target and wishes to bring the experience more in line with the current PvP bounties. I understand this, trying to streamline everything into one aspect so that when they make changes it can cover everything in one go. But where you have to manually fly towards the target, if the target spawns 200 kilometers away, that means you'll be stuck flying in a straight line for between 4 and 6 minutes before you've even reached the destination. Then you'll more than likely have to wait longer for the target to actually appear. All this serves to just inflate a gameplay loop and hamper the profits gained from it. And ironically, this decision comes just one micro patch after giving people the option to jump to bounty targets without having to use Skyline. That's maybe some mixed messages there, CIG. I do understand they wish us to actively hunt for bounties, and to be honest, I really want to as well. But this really isn't the way of going about it. They're bringing in an updated scanning mechanic in 3.14, but really this should have been enabled at the same time, not 2 months before the new mechanics were introduced. Some may say they're just testing this in the run-up to bringing in the new mechanics, but what exactly is it testing? That people are willing to fly in a straight line for long periods of time? The new and improved scanning, loosely explained in the latest Inside Star Citizen, only really hinted at improved detail from scan results and the ability to merge signatures together. There was no sort of detail on using scanning to locate targets or the trail of a target from a considerable distance away. They mentioned how targets could merge together and how distance affects the detail found within a scan, so for example you were able to detect the cargo inside a ship from too far away. But still, no hint as to how this will be tied into bounty hunting itself. So even when this new scanning is implemented, it won't make any difference to the way in which bounties currently operate. As a result to these planned changes in 3.13.1, it means that currently the only gameplay loop that doesn't seem to have been butchered in regards to earning potential is mining, but mining really isn't for everybody, especially when a good portion of Star Citizen's currently flyable ships are primarily combat-focused ships. In the future, I'd really love bounties and their associated difficulty to be more tied to the hunt itself more than the combat. For example, you utilise scanning to detect previous quantum jump trails or residual heat from NPC engine use or player engine use. The higher value the bounty, the more of these sources you need to maybe follow and triangulate before you actually locate and engage the target. If this were the case, flying endlessly would be fun. Players would become sort of pseudo-detectives, maybe guessing the target's location early and jumping in unexpectedly. If this was the case, and the rewards reflected the time taken, bounty hunting could be seriously good fun. This would mean that when you're flying endlessly, you actually have something to do instead of just following a straight line. And it would also mean larger ships with increased scanning ranges could become very useful. You could have a co-pilot pulling through sensor readings or logs in a minigame to direct the pilot in real time, meaning the Constellation Aquila might actually have some potential. But the current approach and plan being brought forward in 3.13.1 doesn't add anything to the sandbox. It merely takes away from it and will really leave players wanting. I'm not someone who needs constant excitement. I will happily mine for a few hours or run cargo if it ever gets fixed. But extending the time between combat in the combat-focused gameplay loop without any sort of new function seems like a poor decision to me. Personally, I really believe all of this stems from the rampant money gains currently being brought in from bounty hunting. And if CIG is that concerned with it, then simply lower the rewards from the higher tier bounties, specifically the group bounties. This way everybody wins. Players can still get that faster paced combat action, receive good funds, and alleviates the staleness that this new patch will bring in. Personally, I don't really see the harm in earning money at a decent pace currently within the game. With wipes, all you've gained will be lost, so why force people to work harder for items when they're going to be taken away in the future? I understand they wish to balance the economy, but there isn't really an economy currently in-game. All money is spent on ships, armor, weapons, and resupplies, with some generous souls giving to newer players. Players currently can't directly sell goods to each other or sell older ships. All materials are purchased and sold at set amounts depending on the station. I know that this may change with certain commodities during the upcoming Ninetales event, but that's still a good while away. Players earning rampant amounts of money during PvE bounties isn't affecting anything. It's just allowing players to buy that ship they've always wanted faster, and slowing that down for no reason is a step back in my opinion. I can understand the concerns from a business perspective as players aren't investing their real life hard-earned currency into the game and instead are using the in-game AUEC to buy and purchase ships and weapons. However, in the long run this may be beneficial because players are testing out ships for free and then purchasing them later so they make sure they have access to these vessels when the game finally releases. Ironically, this change happens just before a major ship sale also, so that's maybe a bit of a suspicious timing there in my opinion. Thank you for watching today guys, well, listening I suppose. I understand it wasn't the typical review or guide you're used to, but I feel like it warranted some attention. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment or even subscribe. It really does help the channel out as it increases traffic. I'd also love to hear your opinion on the matter, so let me know how you feel below in the comments. As always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.